ዘላለማዊ ክብርን ሞገስን ንሰማዕታትና ቁልቁለት ወሪድካን ዓቐበት ወፂኻን ጦሚኒ ጾሚእኒ ከይበልካ ወይ ከፈተኽ
Q-Rap, welcome to AMN. Thank you for joining us.
All of my soldiers were AKs, trying to live to see the better days.
When Today Free took Makale and most of the guy, that also gave me another energy in the record. You can hear it. You can hear it in the voice where I am at times I get rage and I just kind of let it out.
Besides TDF, who that TDF? I love that song. It's just so catchy.
If we touch down, double A town, get the fuck out my way. They celebrated, they talk loud, popping bottles the whole time.
Waro is a new song that came out. I think that song needed. That song was needed. If you're gonna do TDF, you have to do Waro.
I think Waro is my favorite record than TDF,
Really?
the first version. So, MB, I said my any, MB, I said my any,
They celebrated, they talk loud, popping bottles the whole time. My soul hurt, I'm feeling down, they still smiling.
Hello everyone, welcome to Axumawian Media Network. My name is Brkiti and today we have Kurum Barihu, a hip-hop artist well known by his stage name Q-Rap. Stay with us. Q-Rap, welcome to AMN. Thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself for those that don't know you.
Thank you for having me, Brkiti. My name is Kurum Barihu, also known by my stage name Q-Rap, aka the MODB King. It's good to be here.
Good, we're glad to have you with us. Can you give us a little background with music and how you started?
I started hip hop. I think I started music when I was young. I would say about 18, 19 years ago. I started doing music after I was introduced to my one of my favorite rappers, Tupac, and from there on, you know, Kenya, Nairobi, where I grew up, they do a lot of hip hop and Afro beats and gangue type of music. So that's when I actually got interested in music and got involved.
So would you say Tupac is one of your inspiration for music, or what are your other inspiration?
He's one of my favorite ones. I mean, I think the favorite one, and then follows Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eazy-E, and on and on. So Tupac had a lot of influence in my music career, or if we can call it that.
Oh, good. As you know, this time has been really hard for many Tagaru diaspora, and you are one of the hip-hop artists that has been using your music to kind of tell the story. So let's speak about that for a little bit. How did you incorporate the Tigray genocide to your music?
It's the pain that I personally felt, and you know, the pain of other diaspora Tagarus who were in the dark for quite some time, for almost like 8-9 months at the beginning. You know, and follows after that. You know, after the news came out, details started coming out through the world media. You get to hear the pain of people, you know, how they lost a family, or a farm was burned, or, you know, everything that we heard, every horrible story we heard kicks in from all direction, including your own family's worries and stuff. And as an artist, I mean, I can't do nothing about it. The only thing I could do is speak about it. And to be honest, I am not a outgoing person, so I don't have a lot of friends where I could, you know, let my anger go off. And so, you know, I find myself writing about it and changing that into a music, and you know, a little bit of twist with storytelling, and you know, it helps me. It's like a therapy, basically.
Yes, you're definitely a great storyteller. I think this has been going on for a year, and it's very important that we all learn how to cope and I understand that your music is one of your coping strategy, and a lot of people do use your music to kind of get that anger out. And your lyrics is very storytelling. As you have known that you're most known by the song TDF, but
Mhm.
before TDF, you actually have a couple songs, two songs, How Did We End Up Here? And then Ruins Interlude, that speak about the ongoing genocide, right? Do you
Mhm.
want to speak a little bit about those lyrics with me?
Yeah, so this was around the time. It was about 6 7 months before, you know, TDF reclaimed Mekelle and most of Tigray, right? And so I wrote, "How did we end up here?" With a little bit of hope on the side. I was angry, but I also made sure there was a hope because it was unexpected. At the beginning, before the war started, I just thought we would. It was a political differences and stuff. I never thought it would go towards war, and that happened. And so, um, before all the news started coming out, I had hope, and so I made the record. How did we end up here? Um, a lot of people didn't get to hear it, and it was okay for me because, like I said, I do music to heal myself in a way. So I released I actually dedicated the entire EP with the cover art of Michael City on the Siege, just as a dedication, but it never got anybody's attention. And I moved on to the next song, which was the interlude, Ruins. Um, that never got heard neither. So
Yeah, no.
here we are.
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely, it hasn't been heard, but like the Runes interlude, I think it's so powerful, and it definitely deserves more attention. I do have the lyrics just a little bit for me to read off, and then you can go in depth about it.
Mhm.
From the song, it says, "But for real though, let me ask you this: would you still love me the same if I celebrate the death of your mother? I
Mhm.
got friends of friends. Would I lose them all? My brother that I grew up with, will they all fall off? I'm just saying, you can speak your truth. Just let my truth be mine. We can debate on different things, but not a blank crime." So go on with that, because I believe that that is so powerful. That in itself is very just a glimpse of the whole song. So go in depth with the lyrics and how you.
Yeah, well, so the interlude, the one that I released, was never recorded in like a bigger studio like I usually do. It was recorded in this space with my tiny mic here by the wall, and I basically did it a little bit of mixing and stuff, and released it myself. So it was never properly recorded, and I have a plan of redoing it properly and better. And going back to how I wrote the thing is just every time I ran, to some Ethiopian person, or a conversation starts about the war, and I say certain things that always um, told me was a lie, and I never understood that, and arguing. I always know arguing with people would not resolve in a good thing for me, especially.
Mhm.
And so, I wrote that immediately after I had a very heated conversation with the and put it right there. And what I meant was, like, everybody in Ethiopia acted like, the rape, the killing, the all the horrible things that was happening was like a lie. Everybody kept saying it was not true. It was a propaganda by the Tigray government and this and that, right?
Mhm.
And so the truth was just disappearing. No matter how much hard we try to tell the world is happening, they made sure to discredit it by however many numbers they believe they can outrun us with. So, long story short, I wrote it just so that person that argued with me, for a fact, knowing that he listens to my music all the time, I made sure I got my message other way around instead of confrontation type of situation.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's so powerful to use your music and to use your lyric to speak the truth is definitely in a glimpse of 4 minutes. I feel like it does tell the whole story and tells the horrible things that are happening in Tigray. Now I'm gonna go back to your other song because I also think that song was very powerful. And how did we end up? How did we end up there? In the lyrics, it says 3 a.m. in the morning, having nightmares. If my mama ever died, how would I live? If my kids ever asked, what would I say? They're dropping bombs on my people every single day. They try to bury us all. Just remember that. And then you go on to say, the same God you worship is my God as well. How can you be watching your brothers living life in hell? Kids dying every day, women's getting raped. So go on, tell me about that lyrics and what that song also means to you.
Um, I don't know if it's a uh, a myth, but I really believe when we repeat the same worrisome of or how we get worried and we have this imagination of the worst with the image in our head,
Mm-hmm.
how it might end up or who might be hurt in our life, someone that's not close to us, I mean. And so I feel like the more I thought about it, the more I was worried about it. Sometimes I would have a nightmare, and it was clearly it was depression that I was just thinking about it the whole day, and then you know and multiplying it in my dream and having this crazy dreams. And I used to have these crazy dreams where my mom, I used to hear stories how the Eritrean troops were raping and just killing people in Axum and everything, and around Edaga Arbi in Nabalet, which I was born. I'm from originally, so that gave me a nightmare. And so um, the more that happened, the more I had like bad dreams and stuff. I just wanted to put it in art and then tell it the way I had it. And it always happened around 3 o'clock for some reason. And so
Mm-hmm.
I just told it the way I felt and the way it went uh, in my head. And here's the thing about bad dreams, depression, bad dreams, and then the next day your entire day is ruined. So it's a bad thing. It's a bad place. A lot of Tagars are going through this hard time.
Definitely. I think your songs are so relatable. That statement in itself, a lot of us Tagaru, we have families that we haven't heard of for over 400 days. So it's definitely something that we can all relate to, and we do feel what you are feeling. Now, if you wanna, you did mention that you were born in Tigray. So tell me a little about where you grew up, and then when was the last time you went to Tigray?
Um, there's a little bit of conflict in my recollection, but I was born in Nevalet, obviously, and I remember Nevalet like vividly. But then my grandma lived in Magale, so I was that kid that got mad at my mom and then find my way to Magale and then get mad at my grandma and go back to,
Mhm.
to my mom. And so uh, I remember I think I was 13 or something when I left. Sometimes the recollection issue I'm having is like I tell my mom that I was 9. My mom says I'm 13, so I'm taking her side on this one. So I was 13, and then I went to Nairobi and grew up in Nairobi. Um, that's how much I can remember back. But I do remember Mekelle and Nebelet like more than any part of Tigray. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you haven't gone back. So you're
Oh,
looking.
I did. I went back um, in 2008 from Nairobi before I came to the US.
Mhm.
So I didn't like it. I grew up in Nairobi. I was this young kid,
Mhm.
hot-headed. Everything did not click. The culture in Kenya, everything back home was not the same thing, and I didn't like it. I hated it, and so I went back to Nairobi. And then, after I grew up and become a man enough and married with kids and stuff, I went back 4 years ago before all this craziness started happening. Right before Abiy got elected and stuff like that. And so I went back and I fell in love with everything. It was crazy. It's like it's a beautiful. We have the most nicest people ever. I would go on hikings and stuff, and I would randomly just find, farmers' houses or whatever, and I'll go ask for water, and
Mhm.
they'll give me suwa or,
Mhm.
or injera with a shiro and all of that.
Mhm.
It's just the more, they don't know me. I'm different, tatted up, and all of that, but it didn't matter to them. So 4 years ago, I fell in love with back home.
Yeah, our people are just
Incredible.
pure-hearted. Like there's no word to describe their kindness. So you, besides Tigrinya and English, you also speak Swahili?
Yeah, I speak Swahili fluently and Tigrinya, and I learned Amharic in Nairobi as well. I speak a little bit of Somali, a little bit of Kikuyu. It's whatever comes my way, you know. I
Wow,
can take a little bit of
you have every language in your book, huh?
yeah.
And then how do you think, so now that you did mention you're a father, how is it like fatherhood? And then how do you try to make sure that your kids kind of understand the importance, their history, their background to Tigray?
It is important. I mean, if you asked me this question about 7 years ago, I'd probably be like, "What? What kids?" But kids do change you for the better. It's amazing. It's a gift. Um, they're beautiful boys, and I try to as much as I can. They're young now. Jaden, my oldest son, is 5 years old, and the other one is, 3 going to 4 soon. So once they start speaking, they speak a little bit of Tigrinya here and there now. But once they start understanding completely, I will definitely make sure my kids know what they're from, their background and culture and everything. I mean, I would like them to be better than me in every possible aspect of life. So that's for sure. I'm definitely gonna make sure they know who they are. They already are big fans of TDF. They got videos on TikTok.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they got videos on TikTok where they talk about Tigray and TDF. So they already know the whole thing, but I just want them to understand it deeply once they grow up.
No, that's amazing, because I do think just the diaspora, if we're born here, we're raised here, but it's definitely important to understand where you come
Oh,
from.
definitely.
The culture of Tigray is so rich. Definitely important that we pass it down from generation to generation. So now that you mentioned TDF is, that song was on fire when it first came out.
Yes.
It was just amazing. Like what was the initiative and what inspired you to write TDF?
Again, it's going to be another story, obviously, but like I said, I released How Did We Get Here, the interlude ruins. Like I said, nobody ever got to listen to it or stuff. So I felt it was the same. I mean, I thought it was going to be the same way for TDF. I never thought everybody was going to hear it. So, but my reason for making the record was because I was mad at certain people who, made me feel like I didn't amount to nothing. Like friendship didn't mean nothing to them when it comes to, politics back home. So their ignorance inspired the record. Um, it was every time I make a song that has to do with Tigray, it has always been inspired by someone that pissed me off during the conversation where they still believe everything was a lie. So TDF was just another record that was inspired by another ignorant person, and so it was me using my music as a tool instead of confrontation and going to jail and fights and stuff. So it was meant to make people mad because TDF retook Makale. Like they told us on the air, like the powder or whatever, all of that. They told us we was done, and then TDF happened. And for me, for a few days, it felt like it wasn't real. I was like, come on now, because they made it. I really did believe them the whole time. They said it was over, and so when TDF retook Makale and most of Tigray, that also gave me another energy in the record. You can hear it. You can hear it in the voice where I am at times I get rage and I just kind of let it out. And so the energy was from TDF's recapture and their heroism. And then the insults were like to those people that made me feel like the world was never going to be on my side. So
Completely. I think that song pissed off so many of enemies just because they understand what you're saying. They're mad because they know basically what you're telling is the truth, right? And I think it's so amazing that you use your anger instead of to your music. You dedicate that to your music, and your music that anger we all feel. So it's definitely, I think it's just a powerful tool to use to express your emotion, because we all do have the right to be angry. We all have the right to be pissed
Oh
off.
yeah.
This has definitely been a hard time for all of us. Besides TDF, who that TDF? I love that song. It's just so catchy, and I like that. It says "Back from the Dirt just to bury ya." The
Mhm.
lyric is just amazing in itself. And then
Thank you.
Waro is a new song that came out. I think that song needed that song was needed. If you're gonna do TDF, you have to do Waro.
Yes, and I didn't realize that until like 2 weeks after TDF came out. I was in Dallas at the airport. My flight got canceled. Like I had like 2 hours extra, and then I was listening to TDF with headphones, and I was like the whole time it was Ajoha Lomanto, Ajoha this, Ajoha that, and I never, I know TDF is all combined together, right? But I never clarified that the fact that I do appreciate our sisters who jumped off high heels and jumped into boots and just went out there serve their people. You know what I mean? So the credit was there in my heart. With nothing without them, that's for sure. And so I realized I made it. It felt like I made a mistake. So at the airport, I'm listening to a beat, and like, how do I put a Tigrinya twist to it? And the Wado word was the only word that I loved when people usually use it on social media. Boom, use that as a title. And then my head started creating with the beat, and I wrote half of it during the flight. And then when I got home, I finished it the next day. Next was history. So that it's well deserved. I love our brothers and sisters equally. I know that the sacrifice they paid as well. So it was the right thing to do, and I'm glad people liked it. In fact, I think Wado is my favorite record than TDF, the first version. So, but the views are not the same. Wados need to get more views on that song. I'll do a video if he gets more views. I'll do a video for it. That's for
We
sure.
need a video. We need video. I think this is a sign.
And I have incredibly crazy idea for the video. It will be beautiful video, a movie-like video. And so if I get more viewing, if I see more views on the YouTube, I will, I'll push my managers to do something about it.
No, definitely. Waro does need to get more credit. I think because as a female myself, I listen to songs and it's always ajoha, like so I do definitely think, because TDF is both, but Waro kind of just highlights our sisters, because there's so many, like our sisters are getting raped, they're joining the war, they're seeing so many things they're facing. So it's definitely a credit that's well deserved. Definitely Waro is. I think that song was just very powerful, and that has to be one of my favorite songs too. But I was gonna ask you this: so which song from all the records that you dedicated to Tigray would you say is your favorite?
Man, that's a hard question. So if we're talking about songs I dedicated to Tigray as a whole, would be the song that I'm working on right now.
Okay.
I started working on something that sums up, my people as one. And so this time, I feel like I want to speak about the people that are, in the blackout, living the darkness on a daily basis, the hunger and all of that. So this next record is supposed to be bigger, and that will be for Tigray. So I think it is also my favorite. I know nobody heard it yet, but it's my favorite. So keep on.
We're excited. Now we have to hear it. Now we need a glimpse.
Yes.
I'm excited for you. Let's talk about your new song that's actually coming out today, TDF Saga. Tell us a little about that song.
So TDF Saga. So I think I'm gonna feel like this for a while, because the thing about it is, I do one song, I do TDF. It feels good. I feel like I got some off my chest, but not all of it. And so I did Wado, and I got some in there, but I didn't get the whole thing yet. So now I did TDF Saga. TDF Saga is, for me, the miracle they pulled when supposedly they were pushed back, and then, oh, it's over this, it's over that, and then they came back and recaptured Lalibela and Gashina. Just within a week, all that talk out the window. TDF just redid that again. And so, you know, for me, that was just like a chicken point. I'm like, okay, if China was not involved with, you know, whatever things they're giving him, supplying him, Turkey or the Arab country, whatever they call them, Eritrea, all of that. If all of this were not involved, it was just Ethiopia versus TDF, this thing would have been over a long time ago. It was a done deal. So it tells you that the type of breeds we are, it's just our brothers in our I don't know the word for them, but ayatatna, you know what I mean? They passed that. They passed that heroism to us, and it just exists in us forever. And so TDF Saga is almost a completion of what I think of TDF as the savers of their people.
Amazing. I'm so excited for that song. And fortunately, I was fortunate enough to kind of experience it and be part of the music video. And I think the whole process was just, for me, was a once in a life opportunity, a one in a lifetime moment. So I do want to talk about the music video and how I do love how you involved many of the youth, especially those in Vegas and also in other states. So how did you come up with the idea to involve the youth?
First of all, like the youth out here are incredible, well connected among each other, except for me, right? You're the outside guy. But seriously, it's just inspiring. First of all, I didn't even know there were so many young people in Vegas. I just never ran into one, and so it's so sad it took a war for us to recognize each other and embrace each other. But what is done, and where we are right now is incredible. Every state you go, you know, everywhere, thanks to social media, you can see every Tigrayan in Europe, everywhere. We are incredible. We are a force to be reckoned with. It's just who we are. And so, regardless of our differences, when it comes to Tigray, we just won. That's it. There's no, you can't do that. We do have a little bit of bandas or whatever, but you know, you can't tell a pig not to eat. It's what it is. But the real Tagaru, the ones that love their people dearly, are fighting the true fight. And so I love that. And then I was like, okay, if I do TDF Saga, I need the young ones. And then so everybody, including yourself, were incredible. It's so amazing how amazing things we could do all together. And so the video was supposed to be better than that. I'm sure you know the story, but certain things went sideways. But guess what we did? We came all together and just made it as good as I wanted to begin with. So it's amazing. It's a beautiful video. This will be for me a chance for me to get connected, stay more connected with everyone, you and everybody in our Vegas community. And so we can create bigger, ideas. I think if we all sit down once a week, we can do incredible things.
Exactly. I definitely agree. It is right. Tagaro United will never be divided.
Yeah.
I do definitely agree that this war has just brought us close to each other. And there's many positive things that's going to come from it. So definitely, I'm very excited for your music video. I think it's so incredible that you let the youth be part of your story, help you story tell to the world, kind of about what's going on in Tigray. We'll take a quick break and we'll listen to your new song.
Hello world. It's to the valley of the shadow of death. We rose from the ashes by the tears of our mothers and the pain of our sisters. We ain't going back to justice in search. Can you see us now? Are we clear to you? We turn prime ministers into a toy soldier, nigga. I'm stomping on this ground, nigga. Time to dig your grave. I heard it on the radio, this bitch is running away. The city up from left, right, bitch niggas count your dates. Wow. If we touch down, double A town, get the fuck out my way. They celebrated, they talk loud, popping bottles the whole time. My soul hurt, I'm feeling down. They still smiling as fucking clowns. I'm having all my woes though. Titty F, what's up now? They do the talk, we walk the walk. You soft bitches just bow down. Fuck Teddy and Teddy O. They preach love at the wrong time. Them other niggas with a shitty flaw. The king is coming, give it up now. Aiming at your head, nigga. I'm aiming at your partner. I ain't finna touch your mama, cause my mama raised me better. I got flowers for your sisters, cause my sisters finna get them. Bow, bow, bow. Forgive me, Lord, I'm in too deep. We losing lights by the slow shit. You gave me talent, so I'm using it. If I burn in hell, now I'm all for it. My mama tears hurt more. My sister arms are gone. The city's burning on fire. If this ain't hell, I don't know. I'm stomping on this ground, nigga. Time to dig your grave.
Father, forgive me, that gave me no choice.
I heard it on the radio. This bitch is running away.
Run away.
The city up from left, right, bitch niggas count your dates.
Run away.
Bow. When we touch down, double A town, get the fuck out my way. All of my soldiers were AKs, trying to live to see the better days. If they don't give us our freedom and independence, we will take it by enemies. No one wants war, but it's necessary. I refuse to see all of my people buried. Stop the killing the women, the innocent children, and flying your drones over the buildings. My people advancing, strategically, mentally planning. This is what you were not understanding. We ain't asking no more, we demanding. Keep the money in the fancy suits, all the drones plus 1 million troops. It ain't how you shoot, it's who you shoot. And look at what God is about to do. All of my people gon' stand up, screaming out. Making the whole world will feel us, cause no longer will you kill us. This is God people, we the chosen. Y'all chose the door but we kicked it open. Y'all tried to own us but now we owning, and the keys of the kingdom is what we holding. Look at the sun, now look at us. Look at the sky, now look at us. Don't tell us no lies, look at us, cause when you die, you will now look at us. I'm stomping on this ground, nigga, time to dig your grave. I heard it on the radio, this bitch is running away. The city up from left, right, bitch niggas count your dates. Bow. If we touch down, double A town, get the fuck out my way. The same God that you pray to, the same God that I worship. We gave you love, you gave us hate, you jumped on our ghost ship. I'm talking about the people, no politics, no bullshit. The religions, the alphabets, the cultures we gifted. The sacrifice we all paid. Egypt came, then Italy. The first offense like always. Let's talk about some history. Let's talk about it, let's talk about it. We don't sing about it, we be about it. You're the gyro, I'm Irv Gotti. You're the Lidge Mike, I'm Machiavelli. We don't fuck around, we got your body, hold up. From MK to the Valleys, from the Valleys to MK to the F, just mark them all the way to Dessay. We past that, we pushing hard.
Hey yo, Q, what comes next?
We don't give a damn, it's a click clock. Either you move away or your body drops. We ain't going back till it all caught. I'm stomping on this ground, nigga, time to dig your grave. I heard it on the radio, this bitch is running away. The city up from left, right, bitch niggas count your dates. Bow. If we touch down, double A town, get the fuck out my way.
ዘላለማዊ ክብርን ሞገስን ንሰማዕታትና ቁልቁለት ወሪድካን ዓቐበት ወፂኻን ጠሚኒ ጸሚእኒ ከይበልካ ወይ ከፈተኽ ፍቕሪ ህዝቢ እዩ ምግብኻ ድጋፍ ዋዕረ እዩ ዓቕምኻ እሞ በሎም ማንታ ወድቶም ጀጋኑ ብርክል ኢሎም ቃላት ዘይብለይ ነታ ዋዕሮ ኣምሳሎት ኣዶና እያ ጸዋር ኩሉ ትንቀሳልና ሞ ትግራይ ክትልምልም እያ ወሃቤት ህይወት እያ ካብ ተፈጥሮ ትግራይ ማለት ንሳ እያ ብለን ዓይንና እያ ቅድሚ ኩሉ
Second back. One more time. I'll do it right this time. I'm gonna focus, my nigga. All right. Turn up. Yeah. Other niggas with a shitty flow.
All right, we are back with Kirap. Kirap, thank you so much for letting us listen to that song. We're definitely excited for your future projects. Your future is definitely bright. Thank you so much for that song. So let's talk about your future projects. What is your next goal? What are you working on right now?
I'm currently working on a song about Tigray as a whole this time. And I'm gonna be going in deeper to details about the rapes and you know the atrocities that happened for the past almost 15 months, and so it's gonna be a good one. Hopefully, we will do a visual for it, but this time it will be a bigger one, a bigger project where I can show my talent and inspire more people to create those kind of music videos, storytelling. So. Uh, God is willing, we will see how soon I can finish the project.
Yeah, no, we're so excited for you, and definitely this is a time process, but it's definitely going to be worth it. As you know, hip hop is a revolution. What do you think about hip hop in Tigray, and how do you think Tigray needs that revolution to incorporate hip hop as the culture?
I think I think hip hop has already made its way to Tigray way before I came into the picture. We have great hip hop artists. But before I even mention the hip hop artists that I want to talk about, the fact that the Tigrinya beat itself is hip hop-ish with a little bit of warrior flavor in there with a hype. It's a hip hop beat. Tigrinya is a hip hop beat basically. So we do have the culture background to it. And then you know I've seen hip hop artists like Marka Bonitwa who puts a little bit of twist to it and you know killed the whole thing. And so it's already there. It's been introduced. But I do hope my type of hip hop is accepted in the future. Obviously, I don't condone any you know curse words in music, especially given our culture and background doesn't allow that, and which I'm proud of, and to be honest. And so, but the vibes and the true hip hop music, the real hip hop background to it, and the flows in English with Swahili and other you know other languages we can mix up with Tigrinya and you know introduce our nation to be soon to the rest of the world. And I truly feel like we can all do it. I'm sure there's a lot of talented rappers that hasn't been noticed. I've heard of an artist, amazing artist called Young Mazmur, somewhere from Colorado. He's incredible. Radov. And so all in all, I think we just need to show our parents that we can use it for growth. Because when we do music and we grow and it actually gets to turns to money, you know, streams and all of that, that means you can be part of the growth back home. I dream of doing that every day. If God gives me another 10, 15 years from now, I dream of creating something bigger back home where I could create jobs and I can be part of my community. And so if we let other hip hop artists come in, it would only boost the energy and we can all be part of that big dream, the shiny city on the hill. And definitely we can do it too. It's a good way to make good money in this generation right now. Music is a big thing.
No, I think I love the way you answer that. I do think our culture, like the older generation, might not be aware of hip hop, but it definitely has become a thing in this generation. So it's definitely important that the older generation also understands the importance of it. Markab, there's also a few younger generation that are trying to get into the hip hop. So you're definitely a role model for them as well. How was the reaction for your songs from the young diaspora, and how also do you think the older generation reacted to your music?
I think when it comes to TDF, everybody acted. First of all, like I said, I never thought I would get that reaction, but the reaction was pure energy. It was the most beautiful thing ever because I realized everybody was feeling that anger inside. It's just that where we're from and our beautiful background and culture don't allow us to express ourselves in such a manner that we presume is out of line. So the fact that I was accepted by the old, by the young, by the diasporans, everybody understood the fact that I was angry and I was hurt, and it only gave me the response without saying anything. That means if they let me slide on this angry words that I use in this record, that means they all feel it inside. We all hurting, and so it was amazing. It was a good way for me to realize I grew up away from my people, and even here in the United States, I was never around my own community. Maybe a little bit when I was in Minnesota, but never around anywhere. So uh, for me, it felt like okay, like I've been losing all this love and um, good things I could have learned about my own self, my background and stuff. I've been missing that out, and I'm glad I'm at TDF because TDF gave me that. Um, Other side thought I lost everything, but I got me like 6 million families. I'm fine. So
No, yeah, we're definitely Kualnay Nahon Khad. That song TDF, I have not heard anything bad from the older generation, from kids. I think that song just speaks to everybody. So you're definitely accepted in our community, and we're lucky that you're one of our own and you're here telling the story of Tigray and sharing the history of Tigray with the rest of the world. Besides hip hop, what other music do you like? What other genre do you listen to? It could be English, Tigrinya, or something.
I mean, I do. I grew up in Kenya, and so I listen to a lot of Kiswahili, and then well, should I say we Kenyans? But in Kenya, Kenyans like more of Tanzanian music, which is also Kiswahili, but a little bit of flavor. It's almost like Adwa's Tigrinya and Maqala's Tigrinya. So I grew up listening to both countries, and then the South African artists most of my childhood, and also Tigrinya. Obviously, when I was back home, my mama would play Kiros Alemayo, and I grew up around a legend, Cherawata artist called Wad Humur. I mean, I have the roots. So, but I do like jazz music. I like hip hop, which I feel proud to be part of, and I also do R&B music. I do singing also, and so I do reggae, music, Afro beats, everything. To me, music is just the way you play your vocals around it, and I figured it out. I was a horrible singer too. Singing was not my thing, but I figured it out. It took me some years, but now I can sing. Not at Chris Brown level, but I can sing somewhere. So I have like Afrobeat Tigrinya songs that are already ready, recorded and ready to go, but not the time for it. So there's so many aspects of music that I'm involved in, and hopefully, I will share with everybody soon enough.
Yes, I think your voice, I don't know what you mean you can't sing. Your voice is incredible. I've heard songs where you're singing and not rapping, and I
Yeah,
feel like you're a poet, you're
I've
a
gotten better. I've gotten
scholar,
better.
all of it. You're all of the above. You're
Thank
so
you.
amazing, and you're so talented. So
Thank
now
you.
I have to ask you to sing your favorite Tigrinya song.
Okay. My favorite Tigrinya song, my favorite, by Solomon Tesfaye. And B, I summer any, and B, I B, I summer any, yeah,
Oh,
that's
I love
that's
that
the best song for me. That was like the song of the year.
song.
So it's incredible.
That song is so amazing. I definitely have to agree with you on that.
Yes, it's amazing.
So, Q-Rap, thank you so much for joining us today. Do you have any message for Tagarus, especially the young generation that looks up to you, that listens to your music for inspiration? Anything you want to say?
The young generation that looks up to me, I think I look up to them. If anything, I love the fight that everybody puts up. It's inspiring. Let's keep doing it as long as it's needed, and even afterwards, we have so much fight to attend to rebuild our country, help our people. So let's stay focused. We got this at Jonah, and to Tagaru back home, Kwagehayu at Jonah.
Thank you, Q-Rap. And tell us, where can we find you?
You can find my music on YouTube, simply MODB Music Group. You can find me on Instagram also with the same Q-Rap MODB. Same thing with TikTok, Q-Rap MODB, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, everywhere.
All right. Thank you so much for Q-Rap for joining us. It was so amazing getting the chance to talk to you and hear about more about your background and your music. Everybody, please make sure you tune into his YouTube and you listen to his new song and show love. Thank you so much for everybody for taking the time to join our show today. Please share and subscribe Axumawi Media, and we'll see you next time.